Yo. Good afternoon to you, beautiful people. And good morning to you, Coach.
Morning, Coach. How we doing on this wacky hump day Wednesday?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Tired.
Mm-hmm.
I've been emotionally drained. Somewhat a little scarred. I just can't believe that, the Bears just gave up on Shane Waldron. Sometimes some people just don't deserve what happens to them, Coach. All right, let me put myself together.
Yeah. Get your shit together, Coach.
He didn't deserve what happened to him. And you know what? You want to know what? When we get around to talking about it, I'm going to prove to everybody why. But nevertheless, outside of that shit, it's been a good week so far. Really good games Sunday. A great game Monday. Bulls had a great game on Monday.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty good. How about you so far? How's your week been going so far?
Pretty busy. Granted, obviously Monday was Veterans Day. So thank you to our veterans for everything that you've done for our country.
Absolutely.
Second of all, that
shout out to you veterans out there.
Usually, Veterans Day does signal the beginning of the IHSA basketball season for high school sports.
Yes, it does.
So we had our tryout. Today, as in November 13th, we're having a second tryout for varsity, just inviting select guys to come back and get a second tryout to really narrow it down as far as like who we're going to bring onto the varsity team and stuff like that. And people that couldn't come are also invited to come. But yeah, it's just been busy. The middle school season for me has been in full swing.
How's that going so far?
Pretty ass, Coach. Both games have been belt to ass.
Well, it's the beginning of the season, and eventually, just like any other team, you have room to turn things around.
Exactly. It's very early on. We still got like 3 or 4 weeks into this thing, which means we've got about either 6 or 8 games left. Still plenty of time to turn this around before the playoffs.
Absolutely. But let's get into this Week 10 slate of games that we got to witness and got to see. Were there any surprises from you or any surprises that you kind of saw or any games that kind of like, didn't see that coming? Anything from Sunday that kind of threw you a little bit off the loop?
Just to start, because fuck the Bears. The Carolina Panthers won another game with Bryce Young.
Hey, man.
Hey, they're looking pretty okay. And they're getting Adam Thielen back this week, too.
I think Bryce Young is the testament of what happens when you get taken out of a pressurized situation. And then you get put back into a situation where people are kind of just like, fuck it, let's just see what the kid does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now he's thriving in a situation where the pressure is a little bit removed, because while he was being a starter at the beginning, there was so much thought and so much anticipation for him to be this world-renowned generational quarterback, right? And he was failing to do that for all you Carolina fans.
Yeah.
But in the process of that, when they removed him from being the quarterback, it kind of took some weight off his shoulders.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think throughout his time in Alabama, it's important to note that he was always like the guy, you know what I mean? Whether it was in the cafeteria, whether it was team meetings, and even into Carolina now, it's always been, him QB1, him QB1,
absolutely.
him QB1. And then, him getting those 2 weeks off and Andy Dalton starting at quarterback, really, like, for the first time in his, career of playing football. I don't know about high school, but at least since college, he's been able to take a back seat and just breathe and being able to just analyze the game from a whole different perspective, which we know helps quarterbacks so greatly.
It's helping him a lot.
Yeah.
It's helping him a lot.
I mean, obviously, I think that Steelers-Washington game was as advertised. Such a great game.
It was a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I did think that Washington catch from the tight end on that fourth down play, I did think he got over the first down yard line.
Yeah,
I thought he got over it when he initially caught the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish they kind of changed the rule to where if the defenders are pushing you back from wherever you caught the ball is where you're down. especially if you're not making any offensive moves yourself.
I mean that is how it is, but I think it was more so he was coming back to the ball, and when he actually secured the ball and had his knee on the ground, he was still untouched, and he started leaning back towards the first
Right.
down marker,
Yeah.
but then he got touched at that moment,
But you
like
don't think
probably
he
right
you
there.
don't think what I'm saying is you don't think he initially caught it above
I
the
mean,
first yard line?
when you saw it from the sideline view, the broadcast view, it definitely looked like he was over,
Yeah.
but I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess the replay booths over in New York, I mean, I guess they had a better
Yeah,
view of it.
you
So
gotta have conclusive evidence to turn
yeah,
any call over on the
exactly.
field,
So
and
if,
if you
if
didn't have anything conclusive, you can't turn those calls over.
yeah, if they call it short, it's got to be clear and concise. It's got to be obvious that
Yeah.
it should be overturned. They can't be just up in the air like that.
What about Kansas City and Denver? Were you
That was a
surprised
close.
that one was so close?
I'm not surprised. I think the Broncos are a good team. I think they've been
I
playing
think
good.
I think they're getting better. I don't know about a good team,
No,
coach. That's a stretch.
no, but I mean good team. I mean I think they're. I mean, what is their record? They're over 500. I think they. I
I think
want to
they're
say.
slightly over
I
500.
want
They
to.
might be a game over.
Right. I mean, they've been playing good football. Sean Payton has brought a new culture to that program.
Yeah, of course.
Has Bo Nix developing the way that should be
Yeah,
developed. He's
yeah.
gotten better every single week. So I mean, it's but obviously the
And then
field goal
yeah,
block.
and I was gonna say the Buccaneers just can't catch a break.
Oh geez, yeah,
They are definitely the test of a season that so far has been just like a mistake away or one play away from having a completely different record.
yeah.
And so I kind of feel bad for them, but that's just how sports go. You know, you got to play to the end, all the way into the last whistle, and anything can happen, as we know, based upon the Commanders and Bears games, where that Hail Mary play is now in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, right.
Because it was just one of those things where it's just like, what the hell just happened?
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't think there are too many more surprises. Arizona kicked the Jets' ass. I guess
Jets are trash.
they're
though.
trash, but I guess we can say the score is a little bit more lopsided than I thought. I didn't think it was going to be that much of an ass whooping, belt to motherfucking ass,
Yep.
by the Arizona Cardinals. But hey, other than that, I don't think there are too many more surprises.
What did surprise me, I guess, yeah, what did surprise me, not the Lions winning the game, but Jared Goff throwing 5 picks and the Lions still winning that game, even with Jared Goff throwing 5 picks.
Well, it's because the Houston Texans don't have many weapons anymore now. They're losing a lot of their offensive threats.
yeah, because did Nico Collins go?
I think he got hurt. Obviously,
I don't even think he came back.
yeah,
Yeah.
obviously, Stephon Diggs is gone.
Out for the season.
So it's just, the Houston Texans are kind of being snake bitten by the sophomore slump situation. But they'll revamp. They'll get it back together. I think a year like this, and then allowing them to get to training camp with all of these weapons back, CJ being a little bit more familiar with Stephon and all of that, I think that'll allow them to have a better resurgence for next year. But this year's just not it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those seasons where it's just kind of like, okay, you had your magical run last year. Maybe it's time to reset, retool, rethink some things about the roster and stuff like that, and then come back stronger next year. But anything else, or are you ready to kind of move on from our Week 10 slate of games that we saw?
I think I'm ready to play our favorite game.
Our fucking favorite game, coach. Who's cooking and who should stay the out the kitchen? Number one, who's cooking? The goddamn Pittsburgh Steelers, coach. The Pittsburgh Steelers are cooking.
Yeah.
I just want to say it's been a masterclass done by Mike Tomlin to start the season off by making sure that he did not allow the media to create such a frenzy around who his QB1 was going to be. I think he understood that Russell Wilson was recovering. But it was nobody's business to find out exactly how long he would be out. And you don't want the team to be asking, you don't want the media to be asking questions every week. When will Russell be back? When will Russell be back?
Right.
Is there any chance that Russell will be playing next week? How is his development going on? Like, you don't want to hear that shit. I got football to coach. So I think it was a great masterclass by him in handling the whole quarterback situation. Not to mention that Pittsburgh is still getting away with fleecing the Bears for only a 5th-round pick because they sat Justin Fields. So now that conditional run of him having to play so mmany snaps in so many games is completely out the window for that pick to go up. So just a complete masterclass by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now that Russell is the quarterback, they're 3-0 under his watch. And they're looking to be the top team in their division, which nobody thought was going to happen.
No.
They still have to show and prove that they can beat Baltimore, which is next week's or this Sunday's game, or is it Sunday or Monday? I mean, I know it's coming up.
Yeah,
I know it's
I don't know
this.
if
I
it's
know
Sunday or
it's this
Monday.
coming up.
It's this next week though.
Um, but they still have to show and prove that they can beat the Baltimore Ravens, because that's the true test of whether or not they are the team in their division.
Yeah.
But as it stands right now, they are serious, and I really like what they've been doing this season. How about you?
Yeah, I think there's been no question as far as how legitimate that defense is. With Pittsburgh, it's always been a question of how good is the offense. Even in the Ben Roethlisberger era, you know what I mean? Like there was always the question. They've had their great defenses. Similarly to the Bears, but
Right, right.
obviously with the right coaching and the right collection of players and everything, this offense this year has hit its stride, has really hit its stride.
Yeah.
And with the addition of Mike Williams, which people thought like, oh, you guys could have gotten so much better. Got his first touchdown catch last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but you don't need anybody better than Mike
right?
Williams. You
Because I
got
mean,
George
you got
Pickens.
George Pickens. You
Yeah.
just needed another solid wide receiver to pair with him. You
Yep.
don't need
Yes,
a
sir.
crazy wide
Yes,
receiver
sir.
room to be able to succeed in this league. I mean, the Chiefs are a testament to that, right?
Yes.
They've always been a testament to it. So, I mean, they're just playing a great brand of football. They've got one of the best coaches of all time in Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
And
Yes, absolutely.
what I really like is that Justin. Obviously, I'd love to see Justin play. Because I've always been a Justin fan. But it's really nice for him also to finally be able to just take a backseat, even though he did his rookie year until he was kind of thrown into the fire when I
Yeah.
think whoever got hurt. But now he's actually able to, be.
Wasn't it Andy Dalton?
I think it was Andy Dalton. Yeah, it was Andy Dalton. Yeah, which is fucking crazy. Crazy.
Andy Dalton is the blessing for young quarterbacks.
I guess.
He
But,
comes in, takes some pressure off, get hurt, and you're right back in
you're
there.
right back in. But no, it's good for Justin. Obviously, 3 games now, he's just gotten to sit back, observe, and see,
Yeah.
like the veteranness of Russell Wilson. I mean, the guy's been to a Super Bowl, like they've won a Super Bowl. He's a vet. Like that's a guy you want to learn from. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
sir.
Especially with all the up and
Yes.
downs Russell
Yes.
Wilson has had in his career. Just very good experience for Justin. But unless you had anything else to add,
No, I think that was all I had to say
Yeah.
about Pittsburgh. But I mean, we can flip a little bit. We can flip over to the NBA.
NBA.
A team in the NBA right now that's cooking like a, ooh, and it's fitting. Chef Curry
Chef Curry.
and the Golden State Warriors, baby. They are cooking. They are cooking. They are cooking. I want to say this. I don't know how much of a problem they're going to be for the course of this NBA season, but as it stands right now, they have a chance of getting back to the NBA Finals because they are winning games against teams that I definitely thought that they would lose to based upon their size, and they're figuring out how to just not allow that to be such a deficiency for them. And they're utilizing it to their strengths by playing faster. Buddy Hield has been a great addition to the team. DeAnthony Melton has been a great addition to the team. Even Kyle Anderson and being the backup role to Draymond is very fitting and works very well for what they're trying to do. They're just a well-rounded team. Now, I do think they're still missing a piece in the middle if they want to be a championship team. I do think that they need to find a center that'll allow them to still kind of play a little fast, but it allows them in the half court to still stabilize things against teams like Jokic, or if they play Anthony Davis or anything like that. I think that that's still going to be a problem for them in a 7-game series. But as of right now, they're on top of the West, and they are fucking killing shit right now, coach.
Absolutely. The team is just playing a good brand of basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, Buddy Hield has just fit right into that system, which isn't a surprise. His play style just fits the Warriors' play style, just run and gun 3-pointers. Able to find himself in open positions, and Steve Kerr, like I mentioned last week, the X's and O's guru. Really just drawing up great plays for these guys to get open. For Steph Curry, the greatest shooter in the world, to still somehow get open and get open threes is beyond belief. Even when they don't even play defense on Draymond, and he still gets open. You know what I mean? Like, and they play solid defense too. They play pretty solid defense.
Yeah,
they create turnovers, they get steals, and they run the ball. They get 3-pointers.
They're definitely in the pass lanes.
Yeah.
Their wings, their forwards, They're definitely mobile, agile. They're very versatile. They're very long. Kind of similar to what Arturis is trying to create with the Bulls in a sense. A lot of forwards, a lot of wings, a lot of guys that can get into the passing lanes and be aggressive if they know how to play it and they have good defensive IQ. But it helps. It helps a lot better when you have a defensive anchor like Draymond Green, who can pretty much be the quarterback of the defense and call out things so that his guys can be active that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving back to the NFL, another team that's cooking, which is interesting because earlier on in our episodes of the Halftime Podcast, we had their head coach on who should stay the fuck out the kitchen. But the Philadelphia Eagles are cooking, coach.
The Nick Sirianni Eagles just won another football
The
game,
Nick
and they're on top of their division.
Oh my god! But see, they're on top of their division by a thin hair.
Yeah.
It's gonna come down to Washington and Philadelphia,
For sure.
obviously.
For sure.
But
Dallas is way out the picture.
yeah, they're
now.
out the picture. Dak Prescott is done for the season.
Yeah.
But Philadelphia, I'm not sure exactly how much of this is schedule strength. I'm not sure exactly if this is sustainable. I'm not saying that I'm a believer in the Philadelphia Eagles being the team that can get back to the Super Bowl and probably complete what they tried to do when they went last time. But I am going to say this. Any team that has went to the Super Bowl understands what it takes to win in the big moments and lose in the big moments, and they're finally catching their stride as the season comes on the back half of it going into the playoffs. That's a team that can be very dangerous.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Coach Moo, obviously, guy from Philly fan. I'm sure it's great to see, but I think it's also consensus in Philly, and I think around the league, maybe not, but me myself, I'm still not a believer in Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's as great as some of these news outlets and kind of these sports writers advertise him to be.
Wow.
I don't see him. I don't see it.
That's not the spin I saw coming,
Yep,
but I'm
yep.
not saying I'm not saying I completely disagree.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, okay,
he's a good
All
quarterback,
right.
but
All right.
they make him seem like he's a great quarterback and an X factor when he's just simply not. When he's simply not, in my opinion, he's just.
We could dive into that at a later time, but
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, but the Eagles, just to get back onto the Eagles again, their defense has stepped it up. Obviously they started the year very slow on the defensive end, of the football field. And the offense has also come into fruition now. Saquon Barkley's playing out of his fucking mind.
Yeah.
That's why you pay a running back $12-13 million
because they're fucking phenomenal.
That's what fucking Saquon Barkley
does. And between
does.
Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, they are going to help reset this whole running back market that people have been taking advantage of and treating like complete dog shit. Running backs deserve to get paid, and Saquon and Derrick Henry are both proving that when you have impactful running backs that are elite at what they do, they deserve just as much as part of the pie as anybody else because they help your team win football games. And the disrespect to the running back position has to fucking stop.
Yeah.
It has to stop. It has to stop. Because in a situation where you have young quarterbacks, who do you lean on to help the young quarterback, the running back? But you want to pay them $1 million to get their ass whooped for durations of 3 to 4 years? Fuck out of here, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Saquon, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're fucking cooking. But for the individuals that's cooking, clap, 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 fuck it up. But for the people that's not cooking and who should stay the fuck out the kitchen, let's get to these motherfuckers. First and foremost, the first one that should stay the fuck out the kitchen right now for me is Billy fucking Donovan. Look, I've been on the train of saying that Billy Donovan is not necessarily a bad coach. He just ain't a great one. And sometimes he ain't even a good one.
Mm-hmm.
He's more moderate. He's acceptable. It works out.
Yeah.
He wins some, he loses some, as they say. The thing about Billy right now is that I don't think he understands how to utilize talent. I don't think he has a great hand on who to play, where to play, when to play, and how to play them. His rotations have been absolutely atrocious throughout the course of this Bulls season. opportunities have been missed to play guys a little bit longer than what they're supposed to be standardly doing based upon analytics, which is ruining the fucking games across basketball and football, in my opinion. There's a thing about using data to try to help you, but when you're using data to circumvent the nature and the purity of sports and competition, that shit fucks everything up. Sometimes it's okay to say fuck the data. Get that guy back on the court. Get that guy back on the field. We need him in order to win this game.
I mean, just one example of that. When we spoke on the phone after the Bulls-Cavs game, when both teams had that small ball lineup up, why wasn't Zach LaVine out there?
I have no idea. Analytics.
They're like, he's got to sit, right?
He has to rest right now. That would have been the perfect time during that small ball lineup when the Cleveland Cavaliers didn't have Jared Allen or Evan Mobley on the floor. So put Zach out there for 2 to 3 minutes and say, look, go out there and just do what you do. Kobe's not on the floor either. Go out there, do what you do. Get some shots up, attack the rim. Let's see what you can do to 2 to 3 minutes, and then if you can't give me nothing in those 2 to 3 minutes, I'll put you back on the bench.
Yeah.
Just that simple. And who knows? That could have been the difference in the game. Right there in that one moment could have decided the pendulum swing of how that game would have ended. Because he could have came out and added an additional maybe 6 to 8 points to his scoring output, and that would have put the Bulls in a situation to where they probably would have won the game by 2 points, 3 points, or something like that, instead of losing by the 6 that they did.
And basketball is a game of runs.
It is.
If the Cavs made their run, we had to call a timeout, and then kind of just went downhill from there.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Obviously kept it close throughout, but like we always say, basketball is a game of runs, and at the end, ultimately, it's whoever goes on more runs ends up winning the game. Whoever has that stretch where they could go, 8-2 run, 10-2 run. Those are the teams that win the game.
14-0 run, or whatever the case may be.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, I agree with you on Billy Donovan. I haven't necessarily been high on him either. Even when he got him, I thought even in OKC, he kind of wasn't managing the team as well as he could have, and he had MVP Russell Westbrook.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he did for what, a year?
A year or maybe 2 years.
Maybe.
But the point is, you had the talent around you to be able to pull off an NBA championship early on in your career, but he just mismanaged his talent. And then right now, the other thing that's pissing me off is like when you had DeMar DeRozan, you catered your entire offense to appeasing that guy. And I don't know if it's because he's a veteran or he's this seasoned veteran that is a little bit more renowned and appreciated, that you decided that, okay, we cater the offense to him. We make sure he gets the ball down in the fourth quarter and do all of these things. I'm not saying him doing that same thing for Zach. Even for Kobe, it's like, somewhere down the line, you have to say as a coach, there's a pecking order on options. And when a game gets to this point, everybody get this guy the ball and we work off of him. If he has a shot, if he takes it, we live with it. If he doesn't, we live. If he doesn't and he passes it off, be ready to shoot. But we're riding with this guy towards the end of the game because that's our number one.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. That's not even happening with the Bulls. And that's bothering me because it's just like, if you are saying Kobe is supposed to be the future, then give him the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Make it obvious and aware. Kobe has the ball. Everybody has to work off of him. Mm-hmm. If not, then give your max guy that if you're trying to trade him or not trying to trade him, regardless of the fact, he's your max player. Give him the fucking ball and let him do what he does.
No, absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
But moving on from Billy Donovan, another coach in Chicago.
Well, used to be coach.
Fair point. The guy that I am very heartbroken about. I'm very sad on this day. Wednesday. Hump Day. The day that the Bears are trying to make a transition from being Cubs to real Bears. Because right now, they're playing this game like some sad bitches. And this person is none other than the great, the infamous, the wonderful Shane Waldron, goddammit. Shane, clap it up for you. Not gonna clap, coach? Yeah. Oh, okay, well, fine, just me. He should stay the fuck out the kitchen, but it doesn't matter because he's not invited to the kitchen anymore, goddammit. Shane Waldron.
He did get out the kitchen.
He did.
He's out of there.
He really did get the fuck out the kitchen.
Yeah.
So he's no longer with the Bears. He's not even So it's one thing that he got the play call and took away from him, and I thought that was going to be it. But he's essentially actually been fired. He's actually been let go. And I don't know how, to be honest, I don't think he deserved to be fired, in my opinion. I think he deserved potentially to get the play calling taken away from him just for a game or two, just to find out if it's really him or if it's other things around this that's keeping this situation the way that it is. Sometimes you can just be on the wrong side of fandom. And I think that the Bears needed a head to roll. Somebody had to get the axe for what's been going on so far with the Bears season thus far. Fans have been calling for some type of change, some type of action to be done, and the easy target was Shane Waldron. That's my personal opinion, that he was the easy person to go to. This is not saying that he's a scapegoat, because I do believe that he has earned his right to be looked at as part of the problem, but he ain't the problem, in my personal opinion. So as much as I know Bears fans are probably elated and delighted and ecstatic and happy that Shane Waldron is no longer the offensive coordinator, I just want to caution you, Bear fans, that this does not mean any type of change to what is going on with the Bears is an absolute. It just means that the only change that they made so far is getting rid of that guy.
Yeah. I think this perfectly transitions us into the second portion of this show, the halftime report.
Halftime report, baby.
Right. You had your thoughts on Shane Waldron. My thoughts are, for Bears fans that go to Bears games, you know there's a parking garage at Soldier Field called Waldron Garage. Waldron Garage needs a new fucking name, Coach.
It needs a new name?
It needs a new name.
Because it just got a stink on it now?
Unfortunately.
It has a stink on it.
I feel bad because I don't even know who the garage is named after, but just because Shane Waldron came in here.
It should be called the Halftime Garage.
Yeah, it should be.
That's what they should name it.
It should be, realistically.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think this is a long time coming, ever since we lost that Commanders game. Actually, for a while now, I think if we didn't play the Jaguars and the Panthers, it would have happened a couple weeks ago. Because
really, you think he was on a hot seat that fast?
I think so. I think after the
I don't know, Coach. That's too early. That's too early.
I think after the Commanders game, it was right there, and then these last two games have just been the ultimate deciding factor of getting rid of him. But I do agree with you on the point that maybe he shouldn't have been fired mid-season. Yeah. He should have at least stayed with the team in some capacity and at least been there to assist.
Yeah, I mean, I think you owe him the right to see whether or not he was the problem.
I don't even consider it in that matter. I just consider it in the fact that you're in week 11 now. You're halfway through the season, and now you're just going to completely flip an offense. That's not going to happen. All that's really.
I don't know if the offense is getting flipped. It just seems like the offense is the offense. They just got a new play caller.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, how much can you really change with a new play caller halfway through the season?
I don't know.
I think the real change is going to come in the offseason, when they ultimately decide which direction they want to go in. Maybe head coaching wise, maybe offensive coordinator. But I don't know. It's such a tricky situation because obviously Shane Waldron is, the guy that's taken, a lot of the blame for this offense. And I think rightfully so in some capacity because of the plays he's called, because of the route concepts there is, the routes that he has DJ running.
God, you keep
no. But I'm not saying this is all on him though, Coach. Like I'm gonna circle back to everything else that's going on too. But like I'm just saying why I think it was the right thing to obviously get rid of Shane Waldron as OC because. I mean, DJ Moore is not a factor anymore, which is fucking really sad to say.
And that's not his fault.
But to a certain extent, yes, it is.
Who? Do you think that's Shane's fault?
It's on Shane and the quarterback, absolutely.
Oh, my God,
It's on both. You can't say it's not on both when they have DJ Moore just running as the X receiver, running fucking deep outs all the time. That's not his game. Let him run.
Wait, time out. He's a receiver. Any part of what he does is part of his game,
no,
coach.
okay, yes, but that's not what DJ Moore does best. DJ Moore is good in the open field. Let him run slants, him run
Time out.
Why are we just having him run go routes all the time? If you're gonna have a guy run a go route every single play, fucking put in Tyler Scott. That could actually burn a guy like that.
Okay, so you're saying
we're not using him right at all.
You think DJ Moore is only? I mean, if that's the case, you're saying like DJ Moore's pretty much a slot receiver.
No, not that he can't do it. He is, in my opinion, he is a number one receiver.
I know he's the number one receiver. He's proved that year after year after year.
But look at how all the other teams use their number one receiver: Devontae Adams, George Pickens.
I understand
all these other guys. They move them around the field.
They move them around the field. But these wide receivers are also all over their route trees. They're doing everything. They're not just doing slants. They're not just doing outs. They're not just doing post routes into the middle of the field just to get them open and things like that. It's not just that simple. It's not that simplified for your best wide receiver because you don't want it to be that simplified. And you don't want it to be that easy for the defense to know exactly what your number one receiver is going to do. But at the end of the day, I get what you're trying to say, that Shane Waldron could scheme things a little bit better so that DJ Moore can be open and different things like that.
A lot better, coach, because like even Luke Getsy had a way better route tree for DJ Moore than Shane Waldron did. And that's such a fucking sad thing to say.
But Luke Getsy also had a different quarterback.
Yeah, but regardless, that doesn't mean you should scheme your wide receivers differently.
I'm not saying that this. We keep arguing that you keep arguing that there's something wrong with the scheme. I don't think there's anything wrong with the scheme.
Okay, see that's how you fucking know that he's full of shit, because like that's absurd. How can you watch these last 9 games that the Bears have played, or 10, whatever, and say that there's nothing wrong with this game?
There's been a few plays that I've seen. Yes, and I'm gonna say there has been a few plays that I've seen.
Oh my God.
Listen, there has been a few plays that I've seen where there have been guys in the same part of the field too many. 2 guys in the same area and different things like that. Now, I've always said that I don't know if that's necessarily that the play design is that way. I'm not sure that's the case. We don't have the playbook, right? So we have to keep that in mind as we're fans. We don't have the playbook. We don't know exactly where these wide receivers are supposed to be on the field.
Yes, correct.
That means that somehow there is some type of discrepancy going on between either the players, the play call, or something going on in practice where these guys don't know exactly where they're supposed to be.
Yes.
Some discrepancy somewhere.
Yes.
So with that being said, I can't 100% say that this offensive coordinator who has made his way to the professional realms of coaching and coordinating plays is so dumb, is so rock-headed, that he's going to have guys in the same part of the field every single time he draws up a play. I refuse to believe that.
So, okay, 2 points to that. All right, and then we're going to move on because I don't want to get too hung up on this because we could talk for this for hours for sure.
I mean, we could, but we should. But when you get done, we're going to move on to what I think is the problem.
No, because we'll talk about it. We'll briefly mention it, but
briefly mention my ass.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Say,
we will.
Say what you need to say about Shane, so we can get to what the problem is.
One, if this Shane Waldron guy is so fine and dandy with his play calls, why the fuck was Jackson Smith-Njigba happy as fuck that he left? That he left Seattle? Happy as fuck.
Because he probably didn't make him the highlighted guy.
It wasn't even that. He couldn't even get DK Metcalf involved last year.
All right.
If you can't get DK Metcalf involved, how the fuck are you going to get a aging Keenan Allen involved, a rookie Roma Dunze, a DJ Moore who has a completely different play style than DK Metcalf?
Okay.
I have no belief in that system, first of all. Second of all, we're gonna get into the Caleb part of this because I know that's what you really want to hit on. And I'm not sitting here and saying he's been good. He's been trash. He's been trash, coach. Absolutely, he's been fucking trash. He's had 2 good games. 3 maybe against the Rams. Maybe against the
because
Rams.
we can move off Shane because you're harping on Shane, but let's get to Caleb.
Let's get to Caleb.
Go ahead, talk about Caleb.
Let's get to Caleb.
You go first because I got my feelings on Caleb.
I know,
go ahead,
and I know you do.
Go ahead.
You're gonna be surprised because my feelings about Caleb are gonna be really aligned to what you think about him. You'll see, because I'm saying he's played absolutely trash. There is no sense of timing, and I don't know what it is, like completely. If it's just the quarterback, if it's the way they practice, if it's the connection between wide receiver and quarterback, Caleb gets to the top of his drop, and it's like nobody is where they're supposed to be. So is it Caleb timing his drop back incorrectly? Is he going too fast? Is he going too slow? Is it the wideouts not coming back when they're supposed to? But here's what I'm saying, though, is Caleb is missing balls that he should be throwing accurately 100% of the time that Jaden Daniels is doing. Absolutely.
Can we
Even Bo Nix.
Can we get the Caleb Williams graphic?
Yeah.
Because
sure.
I want to look at this dude as I say this.
Yeah.
I want to look at you and I want to. He is the problem and has been the problem from the jump.
Type shit.
He's been the problem from the jump. And the reason why he's been the problem from the jump is because the Bears were never supposed to draft this kid. He's the perfect example of what happens between corporate and employees, right? When you have a corporate situation where they don't listen to their employees and the employees is telling them, we need this, we need that, we want this, we want that, and the corporation is like, we think we know what's best. We think we know what's best. We're gonna move this. We're gonna do this. And then when it fucks up, they blame everybody else and everything around it because they don't want to take credit for their fuck up. Your team told you who the fuck they wanted at quarterback. Your top wide receiver who you just gave a fucking max to. The top receiver that one of the best receivers we ever had.
Yeah.
The most money the Bears have given any player told you last year, I don't see a big fucking point in any of the quarterbacks that's coming out of that draft over Justin Fields. Why are we moving him? But instead, you don't listen to him. You go and draft this fucking kid who's supposed to be so fucking phenomenal and so great. And he comes out and he's dog shit, whether people want to accept it or not. He's not what he was advertised to be.
No, for sure. For sure.
In any capacity.
Yeah.
0.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
And now we've gotten to a point where damn Bears players are almost at a point of staging a fucking mutiny because many of them would rather have Tyson fucking Badgett out there than this fucking guy. And that includes your best fucking wide receiver. That only tells me that everybody knows in that fucking organization, but they can't fucking say it because if they do, everybody has egg on their face. Because in reality, this team was structured and set up to do the things in the right way. You had two picks in the first round last year's draft. You had cap space. All you had to fucking do was fix the fucking problem with this team that everybody knew what the fuck it was. The offensive line.
Yep.
That's all you had to fucking do. But we made this so fucking complicated because we got hyped up in the fucking media frenzy of this fucking generational quarterback that ain't generational. Is a fucking diva. A fucking mama's boy. Crying to his fucking mom after a loss. But that's who you wanted to fucking draft to be your leading quarterback for your fucking team. And now, because he fucking sucks, everybody has to take their fucking head and duck. Or get fired because he's not good enough. And nobody in the organization is willing to say, we fucked up. We fucked up by getting this kid.
You know why they can't say that? Because we're in week fucking 11, Malcolm. How are you going to say you fucked up with a quarterback in his rookie fucking year in week fucking 11
because
and
it's
say
obvious,
he's a fuck up?
It's obvious that he doesn't have it.
You know what?
You want to know why
you know what is obvious?
No.
You know what is obvious?
What?
Is that the Bears don't know shit about developing a quarterback out of college. They don't know shit. And you know that for a fact.
I do know that for a fact.
For me, it don't matter who the fuck was quarterbacking this team. forever for the Chicago Bears franchise as long as we still have this bullshit-ass fucking owner in George McCaskey and Virginia McCaskey. They're always going to be so fucking far up their ass with their heads that they can't fucking see shit straight. We can't develop a quarterback for shit. We had Justin Fields.
Yeah, Mitch.
Who's going to be fucking great in Pittsburgh. I guarantee you he will.
He's going to be fucking phenomenal.
And whose fault is that? That's our fault. That's the Bears' fault.
It's our fault because we didn't invest in what we were supposed to invest in. We didn't stay dedicated to the investment.
And we didn't fucking develop him either. We tried making him a pocket quarterback, just sticking in the pocket and be scared to scramble out.
Yeah, but let's be clear.
And then when he was doing what he was doing, it's like, oh, he's a running quarterback. He can't sit in the pocket. How? When you got a fucking offensive line that plays in high school. There could probably be a high school team that plays better than this offensive line.
But that's my overall point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we agree on this shit.
No, what we don't agree on is the assessment of him.
No,
I'm saying you're trying to give him grace by saying he's a rookie. And I get that. That's all fine and dandy. But it's a difference. The difference is this rookie was pegged to be something more than just a rookie. He wasn't supposed to come in and be like any rookie quarterback. That is what he was supposed to be. That's what he was advertised to be. Not to mention, you doubled down on the fact that you gave him every fucking weapon possible at every skill position on the offense. His mind, his IQ, and his ability to read the defense is what we were sold on, which was supposed to be the de facto to why the offensive line was bad, right? Because Justin Fields was supposed to be not smart enough, didn't have the IQ, didn't have the understanding, couldn't read the defense, and that's why he was getting sacked so much, and that incurred a look of the offensive line being so bad. But he was supposed to be the antidote to that. He was supposed to make sure that his IQ was supposed to be so fast, his processing was supposed to be so great that the offensive line wouldn't look so bad.
See,
but the reality,
that's fucking bullshit. You can't even fucking say that. You can't even say that shit.
That's not bullshit because that's exactly what he was supposed to be. That's what they said. That's what they said.
My feeling is, it don't matter who the fuck you have at quarterback.
No, it
on
does.
This Bears team.
It does.
I don't give a fuck.
It does because I guarantee you, had we kept Justin with all of these weapons, we would still be a better team than what's going on with Caleb right now. I guarantee you that. And you want to know why? Because Justin already knew how to play with this offensive line. He already had a feeling and understanding of when to move, when to get out the pocket and use his legs, which then will keep the defense from being so adamant of rushing and putting pressure on because they know they have to defend Justin with his legs. So that would have gave the offensive line a little bit more time and grace without having so much pressure on them because the defense has to take into account what Justin can do with his feet. He doesn't give you that dynamic. So now the defense knows we can just bring the fucking house because he ain't going nowhere. He ain't running. He ain't moving. He can't shake nobody. He can't do a fucking thing but be back there and get his bitch ass hit.
And, okay, good. Because you know what I think that shows?
What?
And
he's trying to read the defense, coach.
No. And you're about to light the fuck up out of this. I already know. There's somebody in his ear telling him what the fuck to do and how to play this game. Because compare the way he played at USC to how he looks right now. They're trying to mesh him into a completely different football player that he's never been in his fucking life.
Because he can't do the shit that he did at USC in the NFL, coach.
I get that point where all this fucking superhero shit ain't gonna work. Absolutely, you can't do that shit in the NFL. We agree on that.
Yes.
But they're not even letting him fucking create. They're not letting him create.
All right.
They're not letting like that. That's what I'm saying. I think, and this is what happened to Justin Fields too. Matt Eberflus is in his fucking ear with this no fucking turnover policy. The guy's scared as shit to throw the ball anywhere contested.
So
unless he's trying to make a big play. But other than that, he's scared to fucking throw the ball to anybody that has a defender within fucking 3 yards of him. Because if he gets a turnover, Matt Eberflus is fucking hot. Like, we're preaching this shit. Oh, well, we're going to look at this in practice. We're going to look at the film. We're going to evaluate. Oh, it's not me, it's the players.
So you think Caleb is in a situation where he's just not allowed to play free?
And it was the same thing with fucking Justin.
Okay.
And like I was
right.
on the whole Justin fucking bandwagon with everybody else, like the whole Justin train of keeping him. I don't know why fans thought it would be so fucking different. I don't care how generational a quarterback is. If you have such fucking incompetency within your organization that you fucked up one quarterback. Sorry, two quarterbacks. You fucked up Mitch as well. And maybe he was never gonna be good, but you fucked him royally. Like royally. More royal than the royal family. And then you get Justin, who is supposed to be this fucking game-changing athlete, and he is.
He is.
But you don't know how to fucking develop anybody. Anybody. And you fuck him up too. And now he's sitting in Pittsburgh. And he's going to be great over there. And now you've got probably the best skill you've ever had coming out of college. The best number one pick. That's supposed to be the best number one pick ever. This guy that has phenomenal skill. All the intangibles. The IQ. The creativeness. The IQ. Again.
But he ain't Jaden Daniels.
But he ain't even a fucking NFL quarterback.
Thank you for admitting that.
Yes, because I could see that. And I think everybody else could fucking see that. But that's not necessarily on him.
All right. If you say so. I mean, that's where we disagree.
It's where we disagree, but do you understand the point I'm trying to make?
No, I completely understand. I'm not saying that the Bears have been good at developing a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
I 100% stand by you with that. All I'm saying is he was never supposed to be here in the first place.
No, he was supposed to be the guy that makes all things good, right? He was supposed to be the Lord and Savior that comes to the Bears franchise, and we finally have a quarterback,
which is why we double down on all the investment around the skill positions.
Yeah.
Which is why we send Justin packing. Which is why we forego getting offensive linemen and all these other things, because the reality was he was just going to be good enough to be able to read the defense, have the IQ, know where to go before the play, yada, yada, yada. There was so much that was advertised about this kid, and when he can't live up to it, there are so many people ducking, hiding their tails, not coming out and being like, you know what, we probably did things wrong. And along with that, we probably shouldn't advertise him the way that we did, because we probably put too much pressure on a rookie quarterback that wasn't ready to have this type of pressure on them.
Like, here's my thing, too. I think he goes anywhere else in maybe not anywhere else in the NFL, but if he goes to Washington, if he goes to Denver and goes to a franchise that could actually develop a quarterback, he'd be fucking we'd be talking completely different about Caleb Williams in week 11 right now.
I'm not saying I'm not going to completely
completely.
I'm not going to completely say I agree, but I'm not going to completely say I disagree, because I still think there are some things about him that just aren't good. His D-ball accuracy is not there. His IQ sometimes is not there. His ability to be accurate even on the mid-level sometimes is not there. His ability to understand how to take checkdowns when it's properly there and utilized, he doesn't know how to do that too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things about Caleb that is good, and there's a lot of things about him that makes him an inefficient quarterback, which has been my point from the jump about him in general. Even when we had our off the record conversations about why I wanted Jaden Daniels over Caleb, and the reality was I wanted Jaden Daniels because he played at LSU. He played in the SEC, which is a tougher conference than anything that Caleb ever experienced in college. Jaden Daniels was already pro-ready. He was playing the competition in college at the best of the best. Essentially, he was playing the pro league of the conference level. Of the college level. And so now he's in the NFL doing exactly what he should be doing, because he's already been properly ready for it. Caleb played in a conference in college that was nowhere near the level in which Jaden Daniels was seeing on an in-and-out basis. And they utilized and used some of the flashy plays that he was doing in college, the scramble in the backyard stuff, the things that we do in the park, as a way to say, like, look at his arm strength, look at his charisma, look at his creativity. Oh my God, he's Patrick Mahomes like. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. It's a dangerous thing to keep thinking that you can copycat something. It doesn't work that way. But
let me end off with one thing.
Go ahead.
And you may agree or disagree with me, but it's just how I feel. If Jaden Daniels came to the Bears instead, we'd fuck him up too. Unfortunately, he might have looked better, a little bit better, but we would have fucked him up.
Okay.
Because if we managed to fuck up Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, and now Caleb Williams, what fucking difference would have Jaden Daniels made? He's a great quarterback, no doubt about it. But it still matters where the fuck you land in the league.
Okay.
Which is why just really quickly, Deion Sanders is gonna fucking make sure that Shador doesn't go to a shitty ass franchise. Watch that.
Oh yeah, he gonna make sure
Exactly.
he gonna make sure his son
Why?
go where he's
Because
supposed to go.
he's seeing what's happening to Caleb.
Yeah, because he knows.
Yeah.
But
Let's briefly mention this next part. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this a lot.
But since we are in the space of sports podcasting, we play a part in chronicling what's going on in the season from the NFL to basketball. And a big name in sports journalism, Brian Windhorst, recently just talked about how when it comes down to sports journalism today, it's losing some of its luster, it's losing some of its pizzazz, it's losing some of its credibility because we're doing too much of it's like Spark Notes. We're not really putting any depth to anything. We're just kind of like giving you an overall concept of what's going on in today's sports. There's a lot of hot topics, buzzwords, a lot of things to get trending, but there's no depth. There's no meat to things. And if we can actually get the quote,
that quote
that he actually said, that would be great because I don't want to misquote him. If we have that ready. But as we wait for that, I think so. This is what he said. NBA media not in a great place because we're devaluing things that help build the league up. I would say let's lead storytelling instead of following. Instead of following the crowd, let's lead and try to get the crowd. So I personally used to appreciate how NBA teams will have a discovery throughout the course of the season, where reporters and local reporters would get a chance to talk about the in and outs of practices, the following of players in their day-to-day routines, talking about if there's any type of teammate rifts and anything that's going on to kind of explain some of the ups and downs of what's going on with your favorite team. But it seems these days a lot of these local reporters are pretty much just yes men for their local teams. They kind of just safeguard the organization and don't give them any hard questions, and they try to be kumbaya with the coaches and the players to make sure nobody gets upset because they want to make sure they can keep having their little sidebar interviews for their podcasts and stuff like that. I think that shit completely disrupts the purity of journalism and the purity of storytelling and the purity of giving fans exactly what's going on with their favorite teams, because we can feel some things and we can see some things and we can look at things and go, something just ain't right. But we never get these stories until after the fact, until after a guy has been traded and all the other stuff. And we're just like, well, what the fuck was going on the whole time?
Yeah.
Why did it come to January 15th and now this motherfucker is in Milwaukee? Like, what happened?
What happened?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck happened? So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Brian Windhorst here. Obviously, he's been a guy that's had some wild, bold predictions that sometimes just evidently come true. But he is a great sports journalist. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy that a lot of people do look up to in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
And us, like you mentioned, and pretty much in the sports journalism world, like we have a podcast, but it's almost run like a show. We kind of give our feelings on it, give a story about it almost. I think the state that sports journalism is in now is like such a, not corrupt, but it's in such a weird state because like you mentioned, I feel like it's a lot of like the journalists now just following the crowd, meaning instead of trying to find a unique story and put it out yourself, it's just go to whatever's trending.
Yeah.
And just try to put out as many stories and even some misinformation about these stories.
Yeah.
Which is very fucking scary because, obviously within sports, it might not be necessarily all serious all the time, but, you get into some like the more deeper stuff, like whether it's family matters, whether it's a guy getting traded, like that's serious shit.
Athlete psychology, what's going on with them mentally and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes, these journalists are misinforming people.
Yeah.
And I
agree.
They need to take a step back and just reevaluate how they approach these athletes, because I think compared to 10 years ago, like these interviews now are fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
Like I can't even watch a fucking like press conference anymore because some of these questions are just so beyond me. And then when you do get like an actual like solid sports journalist that asks a tough question, people look at him and it's like, oh, what the fuck are you asking? Like, no, like that's what we want to know.
Like, why are you doing that? Or the players get offended and they walk out and shit like
no,
that.
That's what we want to know. Obviously, without crossing the line, but like it is your duty to get a good story and to challenge these guys. You know, to not just give the whole nonchalant, press conference trained, answers that they've been preparing for the whole week. You want to challenge these guys, make them show their true side. So yeah, I definitely agree with Brian on this.
Yeah. All right. It's been a little. We kind of warmed up a little bit.
It's
today,
all right
Coach.
though. That's what makes us us.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's get into our predictions for Week 11. Let's just get right into it. Washington and Philly. That's going to be a good game. But who you got?
It's in Philly, but give me Washington.
I think Washington bounces back and they kind of take control of their division with this game. Green Bay, Chicago.
I'm a Bears fan, but fuck, give me Green Bay.
I got the Bears.
I know.
Jacksonville, Detroit.
Detroit.
I got Detroit too.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Tennessee.
Minnesota.
Las Vegas, Miami. I got Miami too.
Tua's been playing pretty decent, man. I told you so.
Yes. He just needs to fucking relax.
I don't know why he's trying to make a tackle with his fucking brain yesterday. That don't make sense.
I don't know, man. Los Angeles and New England.
Give me the Rams.
I got the Rams. They're trending upward.
Yeah.
Cleveland and New Orleans.
I
got New Orleans.
They got their new head coach. He's got some pizzazz to him. He's got some little. He's got good vibes with him.
And Derek looks like he's trending upward. In his play. From where it started to how it went. It seems like it's going back to how it started at the beginning of the season. Indianapolis and New York. I got the Colts.
Yeah, I want to say the Jets, but if they, I'm going to say the Jets, but if they lose this game, the owner should sell the team.
Interesting.
Because then they'd be what, like 2-7?
Yeah, 3-8, I think.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Who you got? That's the game of the week.
That's definitely the game of the week for me.
I got B more though. Mike Tomlin's gonna have a hell of a defensive game plan.
Give me Pittsburgh.
You believe in them now.
Give me Pittsburgh.
You believe. All right.
Believer.
Atlanta and Denver.
That's gonna be a sneaky good game too. But give me Denver at home.
Yeah,
it's not easy to play in the Mile High.
No, I don't think so. But I got Denver too. Seattle and 49ers.
Give me San Fran. Seattle was also like one of those teams this year that it's like, we're supposed to be pretty decent, but you're also kind of just
because they lost Shane Waldron, coach. Kansas City, Buffalo.
Kansas. Kansas. Kansas.
I would keep picking Kansas City until they lose because, like I said, until they get beaten, I'm gonna just keep running with them.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo pull it off.
Yeah.
Cincinnati and the Chargers.
That's a Sunday night game. Surprisingly,
that's gonna be a good game.
Gonna be a good ass fucking game.
But I don't know if it matters at this point for Cincinnati to win. They're not making it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So a part of me feels like they might want to win just for pride, but they might be at the point where they might just want to pack it in. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Yeah, give me the Chargers.
Houston and Dallas. I got Houston because Dallas doesn't have a quarterback.
Fuck Dallas.
All right. As always, we just want to remind you guys of the halftime sweepstakes. You guys know what you're supposed to do. Tag us, post us a video of you telling us what the halftime score will be between the Bears and the Packers. You have to get the score right, and you have to make sure that you are following our Instagram and following our YouTube channel. Again, post a video, mention us in it, have the score right at halftime between the Bears game and the who are they playing? Packers. Yeah. I keep forgetting. How I forget that. The Bears and Packers game. Make sure you're following us on Instagram and make sure you're following us on YouTube. But by the way, Coach, just real fast.
Yep.
What is your prediction for the halftime score?
Halftime score, I've got the Packers up 20-10.
And I have the Chicago Bears up 24-10 at halftime. All right.
All righty.
That's been the Halftime Podcast today for episode 8. I'm Coach Malcolm.
I'm Coach Konrad.
And as always, it's bear down and see red, baby.
Yes, sir.